Hello, everyone. I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here on the front lines with my co-host,
DANK.
and we're here to fight the cabal, the deep state, the Lumadunkies, and all those that wish to enslave all of mankind for their own really stupid reasons.
Really stupid reasons, yeah. So good evening, Dan.
Yeah,
What's going on?
Happy belated Thanksgiving. I didn't get to tell you.
Yes, happy belated Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you were MIA.
I was trying to get on. I just did not work out. It did not work out between the. I don't know. I guess I got home too late or something. But anyways, so just to update and give everybody a Kim update to start with, right?
Okay.
So she told us that she told me the other day on, I don't know if it was Wednesday or Tuesday, that she was telling me the chaos that was ensuing, and she said, well, this morning the Rothschilds, landed in Moscow, right? Mm-hmm. And so I thought, so my question was, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because allegedly, the Rothschilds, not allegedly, they definitely called her, and they said they wanted to, team up with her because they were also enemies of the Order of the Black Sun, right? So, not that I expected anything from them, really. But then I guess when they went there, they went to Russia, and they said if Russia gave them $300 billion, they would make the ruble or something, whatever the Russian, currency is, the new world reserve currency. So, shady dealing.
That's nice of them.
And yeah. So
little
asked her about it today. She said, She said they will go along with the restoration plan, or they will die like the rest of them. So I think it's pretty clear where we stand on that, and I fully support that. By the way, you're either going to be part of the restoration, or you're not going to be in control, because you can't give control back to people that have sought to basically use you as a hamster on a wheel for the rest of your life, right? We do not consent to that form of governing, right? So that's kind of where that is. And then I was asking Kim, like, I went through all these amazing things that have happened, right? You have the Kim's monetary system and the Kim's military and intelligence system, right? 2 more Kim systems coming up that, like 2 weeks ago, she told me she was finishing up. So, that in addition to the De La Rue machine, the De La Rue company, I guess they're announcing their imminent collapse, right? Because they're so far in debt that they can't make it up, which is funny because they actually make money, right? So,
yeah, they print it, so why not print a little bit extra on the side if they can't make ends meet?
Right.
It's not like they haven't done any It's not like they haven't done counterfeiting before. It's like 80% of the world's cash up there is counterfeited by them.
And anybody who doesn't catch on to what we're saying here, we've been saying for a while that they've used the real De La Rue, the French De La Rue printing press, owned by the Rothschilds, right, to create massive batches of super notes, right, which is just counterfeit $100 bills with so they're identical to the regular bills, except for they have duplicate batch numbers, right? So now the system is not allowing those bills to be entered into the system, right? So they've been trying to launder it through Haiti and through some of the different different ways through Wells Fargo and things like that, right? Trying to bring cash business and whatever else. I also think they've been doing that to the all cash kind of a medical marijuana places as well, right? So these guys end up having their own vaults. Their own business. They have all this money and they can't.
Right.
They have to pay for everything in cash. But so now what you're seeing is signs of that being true, right? Because what good is it if you're printing money, right? But no one will take your money anymore because you can't put it anywhere.
Right. And that's why getting rid of cash is what they're going to say. So, it's to get rid of money laundering, right? Which means it's going to make it much easier for them to launder the money, right?
Right. So that's going on, and then Kim today, I asked her. I was like, so I went through a list of all these amazing things that have been happening, right? And I said, impeachment. Department of Justice declares, impeachment is officially bust, right? There's no impeachment inquiry. Tim Fitton from Judicial Watch says that there's 38 counts of mass conspiracy that Hillary Clinton can be indicted and jailed for decades on, right? In prison for decades on.
On each one.
And Tim Fitton is not somebody to just throw that out there unless he's got the evidence to prove it. And also, he goes through very traditional channels as well, right? Like he's not basing this on the many things we actually know about, right? Not that I'm sure he does know those things too, right? But he never brings them up, right? He's very diligent about staying within the confines of what's being presented. And I think he's masterful at bringing out, these are the things that are actually indictable, that are criminal, that are happening right now, that are public, that are obvious, right? That, people have to hold them accountable for. If not, they'll just keep doing nothing. So I think that's huge. So I put all that to Kim and I was like, so what do you think the chances are we'll be able to pay our rent on time this month, right? And and she told me that she was currently working a side job, painting, houses, so that she could pay her rent on time, right? Because one of the things I don't know if people really fully conceive of is just how ruthless these people have been, right? That they have not allowed a dime of money to go to Kim, or really to have any of the fees from the trust be paid back, even though Kim has been paying the salaries for the government for a year and a half ago, right? So even though they get their salaries paid, they refuse to allow regular people to have money. So that's a little frustrating. You know. So
I think it's probably a good idea to kind of also say, this isn't the if Kim is painting houses, right? It's not where she's come from. She used to own banks. She used to be have a lot of money. So, but if you want to basically, if you're on their bad side, they just decide to unperson you.
Yeah, yeah, and they nothing you, right?
And nothing.
So so they have this sliver of control still. I was kind of joking around with Kim saying, like, it's an oxymoron, right? You have absolute control of the world financial system and can't pay your own rent, right? And that's not a slight against her; it's a slight against them. Is that this is acceptable in their world because they're just they're the ones who are the consumers, even though they've labeled us that, right?
Right.
They consume and consume and consume at our expense, right? And they can care less. Like,
well, again, everything they say is really what they're doing to us, but they put it on us as a negative, right? And they accuse us of being that or whatever. Whoever is in opposition, like what they do to Trump. Oh, you're doing Russian collusion, or you're doing Ukrainian collusion. You're doing quick pro quo. It's everything that they are doing, they put on the other side, right? That's just their first step. It's their natural reaction to anything that happens. Oh, you did it.
Yeah, right. Well, it's always the high road on this case is it's a brutal path sometimes,
right?
Because I've taken the same approach, as Kim. Like, look, not to sell products, not to solicit donations, or like we do shows every night of the week, and we do all types of things. If I would just go on their payroll somehow and let them buy me off, this could be very lucrative for a while, right? And then I'd regret forever that I wasn't part of the biggest transition in history, and sold my soul, right? So. Yeah. That's the MO. Kim calls it the big squeeze, right? Where they think that they're going to get Kim to comply, which I think is hilarious, right? Because Kim is not going to comply, and I fully support her on that, and I support her, and I will say that I hate that they still have this control of us. I have people contact me from all over the world in desperate need every single day. And as well as my own people who, survive on faith and, the benevolence of, just a few good friends who help them out. And I do the same, But I'll tell you, I look at it like, this time of year is brutal. Like, I hate coming up on like Christmas. It's brutal.
Right.
But I know in the end we win. I know in the end we win. So I just feel like it's worth holding out and staying the course, because at the end of the day, I mean, obviously it is. Like, and plus, after a while, it's like all their money is tainted, It's like every single thing that you could do that would, be of any kind of, like, any way you would normally make money, they won't let you. First year as a Kim, I should have made an additional like $6 million in commissions from other sources. I wasn't able, that I didn't get one single thing brought into my account. There was not a lot of money to hit my account, even money that wasn't from Kim. So
yeah,
goes that way.
Yeah.
So
I had all my bank accounts just shut off for no one could tell me the reason, and all thing I can point to is that I was with Swiss Indo and I made these videos explaining the history and what went down, right? And that was it. After that, I said, okay, well, I'm in crypto now. I was slightly in crypto before then, right? Then it was like full time.
Yeah. It goes that way.
Yeah.
I can't wait to work, in a position where it's like, this is one of those things where like it'll mess with your mind a little bit, at times. Going through this process because you're like,
from where
still happening?
Yeah, from where I was, very very strange, very very strange, positioning, to go from one thing, or I'm building the next company, right? I'm have programmers being paid, a lot of money going out, and now go to a place where it's like, oh well, how do you pay rent? How's that supposed to work?
This time of the month, every single one for it's always stressful, always.
Right.
Yeah. Which is silly, to be honest. Like I do my best not to bring that energy in because it's like there's so much available here, right? There's just so much possible, and yet they right now, I guess this is probably one of the last times they're going to have us up against the the wall, kind of bullying us for our lunch money, right? And,
well, isn't that what they're doing in Russia?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that went south quickly.
Yeah, it's like
I think
they need some lunch money, so they went to Russia.
Yeah, they definitely need some spare change somewhere because they don't have it to deal. So they don't have what it takes to basically mount a force to fight back right now. And even if they did, it would have hurt Russia and them because they never would have got that money. This kid would have shut it off. So it's amazing to me like how stubborn they are despite impossible odds. It's like if you're just always used to doing whatever the hell you want, it's got to be just brutal. You just can't understand it.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's hard to grasp what it is, but you can see that it happens quite often with people that they keep doing exactly the same thing. They don't know how to alter, right? They're used to doing one thing, and they'll just keep doing it no matter it's not working anymore. They'll just keep doing it. It worked before, and they'll go thinking it's going to work again. If only.
Yeah, no, I know, and that actually is trapped on myself. Like even though it's different, right? But like with the RV, you were waiting, right, all the time, and you kept thinking it was going to happen. And now I see the RV post. I'm like, wow, there's not even a word change, right? Like nothing has changed.
Yeah,
it's the same exact thing, and people. I don't know if it's fresh people or what it is, but everybody kind of comes in and just joins it, and they get taken for a ride.
I mean,
and then
I step into those rooms, just the one Telegram group someone added me to, and I made comments before, and then they obviously they don't want to hear it, so I just leave it alone now. But I'm just I go in and I say, yeah, it's exactly the same thing that I saw the last week when I looked in there. Same comment, same thing. 800 numbers. It's happening. Bank account.
It's happening, yeah.
So yeah, I can spend a whole minute, and I can't get that minute back.
Yeah, I know. What's fascinating to me is how so much of, everything we believe, in a sense, is a lie at some point, right? And it's like we have a very close doctor friend, and he got into this mix, one of these on Facebook, really adamantly. In my opinion, he's making himself look like a fool, right? Saying he's like, I'm a doctor, I've done this. He goes, there's more research to show that we're going to ignore scientific research on vaccines because some soccer mom says there's an alternative cure. I'm like, wow. To me, it's like professing your ignorance so boldly, because there's no research actually. There's none. There is not a single study done that even remotely considers if you take multiple vaccines at the same time, what the effects are, right? And I think it is just profoundly ignorant and irresponsible that we have doctors who don't think that giving a newborn baby in the first year of life 4,050 micrograms of aluminum in their system when 5 micrograms is toxic for a grown man. That there's no consideration for what the hell are we doing, right? Like, you can't even look at them one at a time. You know, it's just amazing. It's like, how can anyone?
And by the way,
I don't even look at them as vaccines
stack
anymore. I just look at them as aluminum shots.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, how about get your aluminum shot? What do you mean aluminum shot? Yeah, you want to get some aluminum. It's about, 100 times your allowable daily dosage. No, I don't want. So that'd be actually a good idea. Set up a booth in the mall, for free aluminum shots, right? And just have some Reynolds on the counter.
Yeah. That would be
visually stunning, right? So what do you mean aluminum? But it's very good branding, though. I mean, to do that though, for it to get the message across. So
it's brilliant when you refer to vaccines as immunizing people, although there's no evidence that they immunize anyone from anything. Every major measles outbreak for the past 50, 60 years has been from vaccinated populations. It's like, it's exhausting. I feel like you're crazy, right? It's like, what am I missing that you guys are so confident in your ignorance?
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, it's again. Well, they trust the government.
Yes. Trust the man. Yeah. So, anyways, there's that, and been banging away at that, and I don't know if we ever talked about this, or if you remember this, but we had Michelle Walker on when she first came on, right? She got me on the phone with this really incredible guy who wrote this really amazingly detailed piece about a few things, right? He did his thesis on this to show about psych evaluations, right? How there's no way that you can get a successful score on the psych evaluation, right? If so say that you're in question because of your psychological, condition, right? So to have custody of your child or to have a certain job or something, right? And so if they get you to the psych eval, always say no, right? Because if you take the psych eval, he showed me how no matter what you answered, you're going to fail, right? Everyone, you're going to fail, right? And I was like, wow, I mean, that is such a, mind-blowing thing, right?
Right.
And because think about it, it's like, well, so basically, if you get to that point, they actually have it set up. And he wrote his whole thesis on this, right? And it was amazing. And I was looking at that some because, what they did with Carol Wachowski, who's, she now has at least, her daughters with her 2 days a week at least, which is at least a step in the right direction, right? And they're always trying to set her up, right, to take these other, options, right? They're trying to get her to basically concede to, pay to go have monitored visitation with her daughter, right? And we had the phone call where, DCFS there actually said that the safety plan for the child was no longer in effect, right? But meanwhile, she just went to court, and in court they said, no, the safety plan is still in effect, right? So when I look at these and then what they're trying to get her to do is take the psych evaluation. Meanwhile, she has no criminal record. There's no reason to take one, right, whatsoever, other than that she was raped and sodomized by the man you gave custody to. And it's like, but they just want her to take the psych eval because they know she'll fail. Then they finally have some evidence to use against her.
Right.
Yeah. So we've been adamant to say, do not take the psych eval. There is no ending with the psych eval that works in your favor. There's no way.
Here, look at this thesis done by this guy that says that there's no way to actually pass these. So you just want to get evidence on me to take my child away.
Right.
Just be out front about it. That's why we don't want to do the psychedelic. You can't pass it. Here's evidence that you can't pass it.
Right. So I thought about it. I'm like, I would like to do a little study, right? Get like 100 people to take psychedelics, or better yet, take 100 psychedelics.
So,
with one person.
Tank, if you take one, right?
Right.
Then it'll prove that you're crazy.
Right, exactly. That's the problem. Nobody wants to take that. Like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. What do you think was going to happen? You chose 100 crazy.
Right. Yeah. I was saying, why did you take it? You must be crazy to take one.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's what it comes down to. So, so that's the same guy is the one who actually discovered and tracked back how there was the $27 million that was missing from the records of Arkansas, and which ended up being, later he tracked it back to be more like $55 million, right? Which got everybody's attention, right? Start talking about money. People were like, hey, wait a minute, that's taxpayer money, where to go, right? So that perked the interest of the mainstream for a minute. And then they quickly, ran away because they didn't want to actually report on the atrocities that go down in Arkansas.
Right.
So there's that. And then, there was a Thanksgiving Day game there in Chicago, right? So I thought, well, here it is in Chicago. You got this little boy that was wrongly taken from his family, right, in Chicago, right, from his mother. Then he ends up getting sodomized and rectal reconstructive surgery. You'd think maybe that's something that would hit the news, right? But instead, they talked about another little toddler that was dropped from tragically dropped from, on a ship, a cruise ship or somehow. Like the grandfather set the baby up on this thing. I guess he was colorblind and didn't realize there wasn't a window there, and the baby fell to its death, right? Which is tragic, but it doesn't lead to any more crimes, right? It's an innocent, comfortable one-off, 1 in a million kind of situation that happens, and it's terrible. But for a moment there, I thought, I wonder if they brought that up just to ignore, a real, another tragedy that is actually involves a massive, criminal syndicate going on there in Chicago, of this whole system with everybody. It's terrifying reality that exists. The convenient thing to ignore.
Right. Well.
So, anyways, there's that. And
I'm, if I'm going to, switch over to the impeachment, the faux impeachment, and there was something that came out on Dan Bongino. He was saying to look out for Turkey. So that Turkey is going to now be the next scandal. Right?
Oh, the country of Turkey. I was thinking Thanksgiving. You threw me out there for a minute. Well, all right, go ahead.
Well, that was in my mind, so you're picking up on it. Because Trump actually said something on Thanksgiving Day when he was giving the pardons to the turkey. Right?
Yeah.
He basically he alluded to there being a turkey that they're going to come after him on Turkey now. So he actually said it. So Dan Bongino said something about that's going to be like the next scandal that they're going to come out after Trump on. They're going to say it's he's got business interests there and he's trying to enrich himself, and that's why he did this in northern Syria. So the Turkey would then comply with with whatever Trump wanted. It was their payoff, right, for him to pull out of northern Syria. It's something along those lines. I mean, I'm stretching it a little bit, right, by saying that it was about moving out of northern Syria. But to me, it's pretty obvious what they're going to do, right? They have to take these things that are already in the news cycle, right, and rebrand them into meaning something else. So it looks like that's what they're going to be going after. I don't know if they're gonna proceed with Nadler in the judicial committee to do more. The Shift has to basically take this report, quote unquote, right, that he's put together, because the Mueller report didn't work, right? So that's why they did this whole thing with Adam Schiff, right, in the Intelligence Committee. So they needed a report, and they're going to send it to where? To Nadler. Now, if that goes there, and they now do an impeachment hearing, right, in the judicial, even though it seems like they've already done it, right? Right, so that's what they made this seem like. But this report goes into Nadler's hands. Then he basically says, "Oh, here's all the evidence we need to impeach him," and then they do their hearings. Will they now let Trump have an attorney there? Will Trump send an attorney there? Are we able to call witnesses? What is that going to look like? And then they'll vote on it. But is there going to be support? I mean, it seems like they're dwindling support, especially when it's, with independent voters. Do you know that the independent voter actually makes up the majority of voters?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah. So many people just fell out. I don't want to be a Democrat. I don't want to be a Republican. I was when I was a very young kid, I was Republican until I think, what was it, 96 or something, 94, whenever Ross Perot ran. I switched to the Reform Party because they said Republicans are stupid. They never govern, right? They always just kowtow. So they're always meant to be the losing side, right? So since then, I was never a Republican, but I voted Republican most of the time.
Yeah. Well, I have something to show you, Dan.
Okay.
That is on the stereo. Let me just show you this real quick. So this is from a disgruntled father at one of the schools. So this is some of the graphic things they're showing in the elementary school.
Oh my.
Yeah. Sorry about that, but but I mean, I guess that is now.
I mean,
PG, right?
Yeah, it's adult content, right? That's where's all the restrictions against showing adult content?
You know what's funny? On YouTube, you can get banned for saying pedophile, but apparently in elementary schools you can show all types of graphic cartoons depicting sexual activity that is sanctioned to explain to kids how to do certain things, right? Things that kids wouldn't even know were something that would be done because they're kids, right?
Right.
I mean, it is disgusting that they would do that. Who would want their child? And then this justifies why they want to, that's why we need the HPV virus. Well, we don't need the HPV virus vaccine because kids are doing these things. There's the perception that you need the HPV virus vaccine that doesn't even work because you're teaching them to do horrible things so that when kids start coming home with sexually transmitted diseases and they say that, my teacher molested me, they'll turn around and say, no, you're just, they'll just, denigrate the child and say, no, you're lying. That's not true. Because that's what they're trying to promote, right? That it's okay to be a pedophile. It's okay to promote, sex of 9-year-olds. Just absolute idiocracy, right? So vote Democrat so your child can be, vaccinated and molested. That's the new campaign slogan. I guess I don't know if it's really taken off yet, but there's a group.
Yeah, amazing. This is I think that the ones that are putting these, basically suggesting to put these rules in place, I think there has to be a law against those people suggesting that those be made the rules and take those people away.
There is actually something in place. It's called the Constitution, right?
I haven't heard of that. Can you explain? Tell us more.
Yeah, so apparently there's this document that our whole country was founded on that, most people don't even realize exists anymore. We're still a law of the land. So that's the reality of what's being promoted. It's amazing when you talk to people that are really diligent in their belief system of these the Constitution. They'll say, like, when I go to talk to them, and I'm like, okay, we're going to try to do the case this way. They're like, why? I'm like, because we want to overturn the law. They go, that's not a law. That's a no law. That's not even a mandate. You don't even have to go and ask their permission or appeal to them to be judged by them. They're our public servants. I'm like, when I get done talking to them, I can feel like how true that is. But it's also like, it should be empowering, right? But because there hasn't really been a way to express that, right? It's like, how do you do that, right? And now we have a way, but I'm saying, like, it's taken me months and months, if not years, I guess, examining these things to finally realize, oh, we can do it this way. But it's real, you can see how powerless it makes people feel.
Right.
That if the authority or what you think is the authority on judgment and crimes, and they get to decide, and then you see, like people getting their kids taken, right, for example, and there's absolutely no justification to it. I mean, you have law groups like the Bear Law Group, Ron Davis, right? Like, he got 42 kids back home, right? He fought for these different families, got 42 kids returned to their homes. The guy gets put in jail for a year, like a year and a half, right? With no crime committed, no evidence to prove it. The judge just ruled on him and just put him in prison. It's crazy. And then when he was in prison, he got 42 more people out. I love that story. Yeah, but I don't know. They don't want us to. They don't want us to stare down the courts. They don't want a whole bunch of men. I mean, men from a stance of women can do it too, but from the standpoint of like what it means to be a man, so to speak, of standing up and fighting.
Right.
And saying like, wait a minute, no, you're not going to do that. Like, you're not taking my child. And if you try to come through that door, you're not leaving here with your hand. So, which that's another thing too. They put out today in Carol Wachowski, Michelle Walker. She's very good about these things. She put out to one of these sheriff watch groups, right? And she put the recording out that I think we put it out on the State Project as well. The recording of this sheriff calling Kara Wachowski for something she posted on Facebook, right? And he literally said, like, I want to ask you about something you said on Facebook. What did you mean by, are we allowed to use our Second Amendment right if they come to try to take our children? It's like exactly what she said she meant is what she meant, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if you come into my house and try to take my child and violate my constitutional rights, and twice, right? Because one, you're trying to take my child. Two, you're coming to my house unannounced, right? Because they actually have said, we had this on tape as well, that like CPS, the Constitution doesn't apply to them. That's what they said. And so then they break through your house. Now, you don't know who they are. If anybody broke through your house with guns to take your child, you're going to shoot them, right? I mean, if you have the means and a gun to do it. Mm-hmm. So she challenged it, and she said that on Facebook. She's mentioned it, and then he called her up to harass her about it. And then he said, because she was mad, she was defensive, obviously. He was like, now this is a woman who she's still grieving her 2-year-old, who was just killed, right, by the system that took her child this exact same way when she wasn't home. Because she was home, apparently, probably somebody who got shot, right? And so and this man said to her, the sheriff, he says, yeah, I can see why you got your children taken from you. It's obvious. I will be reporting this. I will report your Facebook post to DCFS. It's like, you should. You should tell them, if you come to my house to get my kids, and you try to walk through that door, you're getting shot. Like, period. I don't think there should be any question about that at all.
Right.
Like, she has every right to say that. that is the constitutional law. But you guys are, these groups that are justifying their policy enforcement. Well, those policies violate our constitutional rights. Right. Therefore, they have no authority over us. In fact, we are the authority over them.
Right.
And that is where the truth gets lost, So that's the stance we've got to take, too. People of this country have really lost sight, and probably around the world, I'm assuming, we've really lost sight that we set up the laws, right? We're the ones. We're the governing authority over the government.
Right.
They're supposed to be there to protect us, not to, not for us to run from.
Yeah. If I start thinking about these things, it's like, what? I want to take some action to make it stop, right? It's just so ridiculous that it's got to the point where people, they're just coming in and taking your kids away. And what can you do? You write a Facebook post to tell someone about it, and then they're going to come after you for that. They'll give you a social score. You didn't give up your children, so now you can't go buy food. I'm just taking it down to the line, right, where they want to take this, right? Complete control over you. All right. Oh, I didn't even know you were gone. But yeah, they're trying to take complete control.
Good. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're back. I don't know. Let's change topic. I want to talk about my homemade cranberry sauce.
Yeah, don't share your recipe, man. I don't want people to.
No, it was actually pretty good. It was just cranberry juice, and it wasn't the best kind, but it wasn't sweet, but it was kind of cranberry juice. They mix with like apple juice and some other juices, but they still call it cranberry juice, right? And
right.
in one of these paper cartons, and so I got that, and I got gelatin, and I mixed and I made it into like a jello, and I added frozen strawberries, and it was not. It was something that was similar, to cranberry sauce. it was still tasty.
Colored.
Well, it had a taste. It had a cranberry taste to it, but it wasn't super strong taste, but it was good, and my Thanksgiving was kind of rounded out with that, and along with some great mashed potatoes, and I made stuffing, with I couldn't get cornbread, right? So I substituted, instead of cornbread, I used corn flakes, and it worked perfect.
That's a stretch.
Well, perfect. It worked. It was one of the best stuffings I've ever made. So
Thanksgiving is my favorite food, right? Because I like everything put together in one big mash of like chili, like mashed potatoes, cream corn, stuffing, turkey, all in one big mess. My favorite meal in the world. A little gravy, cranberry sauce, good to go.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to leftovers. and
yeah, you have a lot of them too, right?
I have a lot, yeah. Well, I immediately took after carving the whole turkey up, I took the carcass and put it into the pressure cooker with all the excess pieces, and then made soup, and I've got to finish making the soup today. Crack it open, debone everything, and then add vegetables. So anyway, that's what I'll be doing this afternoon after we're done with our broadcast.
Nice. Well, good. Yeah, I tried to work on my own free energy device for my sons, right? So we follow one of the videos, put it all together, so we can charge our phones. That's our goal.
Okay.
So,
does it involve $10,000 and a 120-foot antenna that's at your house, right? You put it up in the air. You make sure it's It's a equal number of lambdas in length, and so that you can actually generate, it from the differential between the ground and the air. Using
I guess.
You just said the one on the video, so I don't know which one you were going for. I know that.
Not that one.
Not that one.
But that sounds awesome.
Oh, it's good. I mean, actually, you could charge more than your phone. You could probably run some things like electric oven. It can get quite a lot of juice going there.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty confident. I can just tap into the field, right, and just charge whatever. So I'm just not sure exactly how we're gonna do it yet, but I got all the I got my copper coils and my magnets and all types of stuff. It looks cool. I mean, it looks like a cool thing. It doesn't do anything yet, but I'm gonna work it out. I got like a tiny little engine from one of the remote control pieces we had around. Yeah. But if it works, believe me, I'll tell everybody. I'll get that thing humming.
It'll be pretty awesome. Yeah. No, I think the one I think has a lot of promise is the Rodin coil. The Rodin coil seems to be something that is it's just a winding of copper in a certain pattern, right? And it's following that same Tesla numbers 369. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, one of our guys is actually, I don't want to reveal his location, but he's got a whole group of really cool engineers and inventors up in this one part of the world, and they just got this. They just figured out the exact ratio, put together the coil, and so they got their free energy device up in operational already, big too. It's gonna. They've got a pretty large sum of acres, that they're working on. That they're gonna build they're gonna have it free energy run and have it produce hemp, I guess. So it's pretty cool. That people are making that kind of progress, and it's out there. We know it's out there. I mean, we get the group there, right? The whole Tesla Christian ministry group,
right?
They're ready to go. It's amazing. They got all types of cool inventions. They got some kind of bike that you can pedal into the sky. Just all types of cool stuff they got. Those guys are like my dream inventors. They're like the way we would invent if we were kids, right? they somehow actually did it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I think that one. I think it was a Russian. I think so. That made this kind of anti-gravity platform, right? That it kind of sounded like riding your bike into the air, right? But it was he used beetle wings, right?
Right.
He put enough of them underneath. It's not more than just the scarab beetle, but yeah. But I think he did use scarab beetles. The wings. It's the actual shell, that outer hard shell. It's if you actually look at how it is designed, looking with a electron microscope, you can literally go down and see that it's in a particular pattern that creates these vortex. It's kind of a black hole shape, right? You have the golden mean spiral, right? The Fibonacci, spiral, and they're side by side, and they're creating a null space of that. So you get enough of them together, it basically makes things, without any weight. So, it'd be.
I think it'd be smart to make clothes in that pattern. Maybe we'd all lose weight that way. Who knows? I think that's a great idea. I want to fly. I mean, I want to make my own like the Incredibles outfits, right? Where I can just jump in and fly around. But they just hover, right? It's not. But I guess
Right.
that guy did have that you're talking about. The thing he made was like it zipped all over the place.
Oh,
He said he could show up to an event wearing a tuxedo.
yeah, it's like super fast, and he basically built like some louvers on the bottom of it, so he would like direct the way the wings were aiming, and so he could redirect his the way where he was going.
But I mean, like he had like a little handlebar on it, but didn't he like power up with like will? I mean, basically you're tapping into like so that's what I mean. It's like you're just tapping into the field.
I don't know. Right? I don't know that part. Whether it was will that he was using to direct his motion, but I guess it could be. But I wouldn't say no. I'd rather see how.
I know, but those episodes, I think once we start, making our own flying machines, if I have a little time to burn, I feel like we're always working. But
I hear you. I'm just like I'm right at that point, where, I'm giving like final instructions to programmers, right? And it's kind of like before they start, they have to have that like all. So in a flow that they understand, right? So we're going through that. So as soon as that's done, I said, oh, I got like a block of time. What am I going to do with it?
Yeah, time, having extra time to do whatever.
Yeah.
All my extra time I spend trying to survive. Trying to scrape together whatever we can to get to the next step.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's basically it. Yeah, it's like, what is the next thing I need to get to make this all happen?
Well, I really think it has a lot to do with this case we're filing, because I think that there's something to be said about the people kind of declaring their freedom. So Michelle Walker and I have been working on this thing night and day, and my team. Everybody, really working on it. But Michelle Walker's got a great grasp on constitutional law, and she's really good about pulling the right codes and stuff like that. So, we've been pulling all these things together, and I just, that document right now is, it's like 74 pages of nothing but evidence to show all the ways that our rights have been violated, how they don't have the authorities to do it, how and it's amazing when I'm looking at it, like, how did this ever happen? There are so many things in the Constitution that protect us. It's just flabbergasting, that this become what it is.
Yeah, just I think I was talking about when I was in school in California. I came from Pennsylvania. And then the whole time though I was doing classes that I'd already done prior, and then I said, well, what about learning the Constitution? And they literally just skipped it. That's California.
Well, so luckily they aren't teaching sexual positions to our 7-year-olds. So that's good. No time for the Constitution, but here's a reverse cowboy. Let me show you how this is done. I mean, that's what they want us with the time.
Yeah, I don't even know what a reverse cowboy is.
Yeah, I just made that up.
Oh, okay. Good one. Yeah. Now someone's gotta invent that.
I'm sure there's something called a reverse cowboy. We just don't need to go on today's show.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Just in case.
It might be a copyright violation.
It could be.
Anyways.
All right.
So.
Well.
That's all I got, man.
Yeah, we're good. There's no Q posts. I just checked it out. So we're good on Q.
Good.
All right, so then we'll try back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Same that channel. Everybody have a great night. And Dan, thank you as always.
All right. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving belated to everyone. Bye bye.
Absolutely. Bye.